Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Kukka, and I'm here to talk with you about Trustlessness, a path to digital truth. A little bit about myself, really quickly. I started out in the crypto blockchain space in 2018 as the executive director at Ethereum Classic Labs, bringing the first ETC accelerator to life, and then moved on to the parent company, Digital Finance Group, bringing one of the many now regulated crypto exchanges to Abu Dhabi, a fully regulated custody business to South Dakota. I managed hedge fund LPs, and I also worked on our venture team. Deciding that I did not want to just work with high net worth individuals and copy a bunch of solutions that had already come to market, I joined a team called PingMe and helped bring something called Masa Finance to life, which is an under-collateralized lending solution for crypto, and also is a combination of DeFi, CeFi credit scoring. And then finally moved to Sygma just last year. So I'm excited to tell you what Sygma's all about, around midway to the end of the presentation. So let's start at the beginning when it comes to trustlessness. When we think about Web 1, we oftentimes think about read. Okay, you could read what's there. In Web 2, you can both read and write. And in Web 3, oftentimes people say you read, write, and you own. I don't know if anyone's heard that statement before, but it's kind of commonly known. I'm changing that for my presentation to co-own, and I also think it could in many ways be collaborate instead. So what does any of this have to do with trustlessness and centralization and decentralization? In a centralized system, you're pretty much having just a few owners, and you're putting most of your trust, the customers and the participants, into those few owners and into the shareholders, into the entity. In a decentralized model, you have many people in an open space that can be owners, not just the founder, so to speak, and you're minimizing trust in a system instead of an entity. Why is this important? And this is old news to probably everybody here. Because when I hear about crypto in the news today, it's this big, scary scandal left and right. You know, you hear the same things about Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan Chase just within the past couple of years. And these are all instances that happened over the past decade, but we don't find out about them until 10 years later, that have to do with moving drugs around the world, money laundering, and price fixing. And these are all of the things that people complain about in the world of crypto today. It doesn't make it okay. That doesn't mean because you do it, so can we, or because you do it, if we don't do it, it doesn't matter. It's not like that. But there's not enough emphasis, I think, on what is happening in traditional banking already. And you know, who has the money is pretty much who controls the world. And on just this slide alone, we have 12 corporations that are doing over $3 trillion in revenue a year, around $300 to $400 billion in net income. And the reason why this is important is because people work at these companies. These are global companies. It influences culture. It influences what life is like for all of us. And all of these companies have blockchain projects underway, all of them. And when I first did my first blockchain presentation in 2018, that wasn't the case. There was only a few. And so how I would look at this today is it's a positive thing. Look at all these big companies coming into blockchain. This is amazing. It helps me talk to my mom and my dad about it. It makes them feel comfortable. But in fact, most of the solutions that they're bringing to the forefront are closed source blockchain solutions. Right? They're not open. They're small. They're just for their inner circle. And they're repeating the mistakes of Web 2, creating data silos again, just for a few people. And so this is how I feel when I see things like this happen. And as the great Abraham Maslow says, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And so what we're doing and what is happening is we're having a lot of people approach Web 3 as a way to make money. It's a way to incentivize your customers, to bring on more customers, and that's it. It's not actually changing a system. It's just making money in a new way that might or may not be that interesting. And so again, around trust minimization, blockchain doesn't actually eliminate trust. It just minimizes it. It makes it so that you are not reliant on a single entity or a small group of people. Like that's the point. And with incentives and kind of the rules or governance that are created by the protocol, everyone's working together within the same system. But there is hope. And there's hope in the wild. And the wild meaning anyone who perceives themselves as somebody who's coming forth in that way. You're thinking a bit outside of the box and not based on a conventional way of doing business. These are a few different logos that I wanted to share of folks who are helping make this happen. These are decentralized open source solutions. These are decentralized exchanges. These are non-custodial wallets. These are even decentralized market makers. These are decentralized index solutions. It doesn't mean that the company's totally open, or it doesn't mean that the company's a DAO necessarily, but it means that they're bringing technology to people who can work peer-to-peer. So they can use the tech, and maybe they're taking a transaction fee, but peer-to-peer is made possible. And so what does this have to do with Sygma, right? That company I told you about at the very beginning. So what we do at Sygma, we're a generic message passaging solution, or a general message passaging solution. And what that means is that we're making it possible so that you can communicate from one ecosystem in Web3 to another. Because a lot of times ecosystems are written in different languages, the underlying tech, or it's structured differently, which makes it hard to communicate. So at Sygma, we have a vision for the future of blockchain interoperability. Sygma is an interoperability layer that provides seamless communication between EVM, Substrate, and more chains to come. We have 5 overarching kind of premises. The first is cross-chain UX. So the user experience right now when you go from one chain to another is not good. It's not very seamless. In a Sygma future, that's not the case. We're building public infrastructure. When you think of public goods, it's free. It's accessible to everybody. That's exactly how we're approaching Sygma. We think it should be free of charge, operating at gas cost, while value is captured and monetization is made possible at the application level. Ownership and pluralism. We are establishing a comprehensive framework that empowers cross-chain builders to create and share modular components for cross-chain integration with minimal effort. Of course, security is highly important to us. And we are working towards a permissionless, trustless future. We enable the automatic and decentralized provisioning of new tokens and networks in this future model with Sygma. So this is how it looks. We have a Sygma SDK at the top, and then we have our relayer system at the bottom. We have 3 relayer partners today: Beware Labs, Aster, and Fala. And this is what it's capable of. So right now, or this is what it consists of. We have audited Solidity smart contracts. We have substrate palettes, MPC-based relayer networks, testnet faucets and transfer UI, a block explorer is already in place, and an SDK for devs to add cross-chain functionality to their applications. There's a handful of initial use cases: native token transfers and swaps across EVM and substrate networks, cross-chain contract calls and messaging on EVM, and then the available routes to EVM deployment on Ethereum, and then substrate deployment on Aster, Fala, Kala, and Rala, or Kusama and Rococo. We are scheduled to go live this Friday. It's actually next Friday, but keep an eye out for that. And if you're interested in becoming a relayer, take a picture of this here. We're still looking for a couple of more folks to work with. You can also follow Sygma on Twitter and Discord, of course. And if you want to reach out to me directly, take a picture of the QR code and message me on Telegram. This was a short presentation. I don't feel well, so I'm sorry. And with that, I will answer any questions that folks might have, especially if you want to talk about the Web 2 world moving to Web 3. Thank you.